Okay, I think we're live. Let's confirm that. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, that should not still be on over here. Okay, so I don't know how entertaining this will be because I just thought I'd test whether I set up OBS correctly again after having it uninstalled for months, having forgotten everything I've learned. And before I fix up the thread on installing LotRO, I gotta confirm my facts since it's been a while. So we're just gonna do a Steam install on a totally pristine Windows 11 install in a virtual machine here. And don't give me a hard time about not activating Windows. It's just a temporary virtual machine here. So, okay, we're in Steam. Let's install. I should have pointed out that there are none of the prerequisites installed. It's just Windows updates, and now this. So I'm probably going to do a separate video of I have a video up only 6 months old or so about how to work around all the Steam related installer issues, but the mic was terrible and has all sorts of static and problems, and it was a conflict between the NVIDIA GeForce Experience recording equipment or software, and it just hates my mic or hates the mic input on my motherboard or whatever. OBS doesn't appear to do that. So anyways, I think it's interesting that the Steam version downloads 26 gigabytes. That's interesting. What is the... Okay, so this must be what it's going to use and versus the file size after it's, it's downloading 26, it will use 33. So once it's decompressed, I guess is the estimate there. But yeah, I don't think anybody's going to join this here, so no pressure to say or do much. I should probably keep an eye on it though, just in case anyone joins. But apparently my streaming is working. I could cut it off now, but why not let it run? Let's see, 43 megabytes a second. So that's like 350 megabits. You just take that and multiply by 8. So it's about a third of what I can get on this connection. I guess that's not bad. The kids are all using... The kids these days. They're all using my internet too. They're on my lawn, they're using my internet. It's a problem. Oh, hopefully you didn't. I brought the mic back down before I swallowed the coffee. Apologies if you all heard that. I think I have misophonia, I think is the name of it, where if you just hear people like chewing something slurpy, in your ear, it's just like, oh. So I would not want to inflict that on others. Anyways, we're just going to document here that when this is done installing, it won't run, both because it doesn't do the DirectX redistributables. I'm feeling kind of low energy right now. The DirectX redistributables and the virtual C++ redistributables. So let's see how this goes. I should mention I've had a cold. I'm on day 10 now of recovering from a cold, but I'm coming up on 50. I don't recover like I used to, so bear with me here. If you happen to come across this and you're looking for just how to install LotRO or fix a LotRO that did not install correctly, there are videos on my channel. The one that is just overall, it says, new and improved for 2022, sorry. But it's not Steam related. The same steps fix the Steam client. So that's really the one you want to go to. And I ramble on in there, but it's all edited down to be only 20 minutes instead of, the full hour and 10 minutes it takes to do this. But we'll see. Hey, we've gone up to, well, the peak. I think went up a little bit. The new forums came out today. I can actually edit my own posts again. I appreciate the forbearance of the LotRO staff in allowing that to happen. So yeah, here we are. General discussion. And I'm hoping to fix up this thread and make it accurate and current. So right now it's just got the link to the video I was just telling you about. But that's nice. And I was able to migrate over the two most visited, or the two things that are still relevant and still come up quite a bit. I'm curious. Forums, old.lotro. I know it's like 270,000. Oops, that's not going to work. Oh, I must have gotten that wrong. Is it forum old? Nope. I know it's working. Let's go here. Yeah, it's working. It is forums-old.lotro.com/forums. Maybe I gotta put that in. All right. That's gonna work. And so I think 270,000 views on the old setup one. And I'm just curious. Oh, this is interesting. We're doing a bit of we're doing a little bit of cleanup here now that they're out of date. That's interesting. Okay. They left this one though. Let's see. Where is my old thread there? There it is. 128,000 views. So, but what this fixes is one of the things that happens with the Samsung Steam installer, man, and hopefully it won't be necessary anymore. Well, no, it will still be for Steam. I'm 99% sure, but it's not necessary with the SSG standalone installer. I don't want to say finally. That sounds pissy. They finally fixed it. No, but they fixed it. It's great. And it's people will have a smooth on-ramp as long as they stay away from Steam. So when I actually do make the new Steam video, the first bit of it's just going to be like, don't use Steam. No need. Why would you? The other installer works fine. There's no benefit to using Steam, as far as I can tell, for this particular game. I use Steam, but not for LotRO. Trying to break that habit. somebody who works or worked at SSG told me I am the only person he knows who pronounces it LotRO. So, having heard that from somebody who actually used to hear it all day, every day, excuse me, I've decided to curb that habit and try to now pronounce it LotRO, like everyone else. Not bitter about that at all. That's a battle I lost. All right. If I've set up my my OBS correctly, you are not seeing anything else I'm doing as I peruse work emails, etc. as we kill time here. All right. Obviously, if this weren't a live stream, we would have edited this. Edited this down to make it shorter. Yeah. You might be able to hear my own feedback there. So, it always throws me a bit for a loop here. 79%, and then it's going to go through the whole patching process, which is strange to me. Well, no, I mean, I guess, how big is the game installer, or the game once it's installed now in its current state, like its modern state? Let's find out. I'm noodling doing some other videos of just like how to fix 90% of the problems people report with the game. It's 35.5 gigabytes live right now. So it's weird to me that Steam seems to be downloading it all, but then if I'm not mistaken, it still just goes through the entire patching process again. But maybe it's caching them and accessing them locally, but I don't think so. The coolant in my computer is running at 28 degrees Celsius right now. And my radiator fans are at 680 RPM. I set up a little screen, a little 8-inch LCD, and put a little, what they call a sensor panel on it, and now I can actually keep track of that kind of stuff. It's pretty neato. I spent my kids' college funds on a new computer over the holidays and decided to build my first custom water cooling loop ever, and it was fun and it is very cool, but it took months instead of, the day or two or hours really if you're not too picky, to build a computer. I told myself it's going to be my last gaming computer because I'm getting too old for this stuff, but I already find myself looking at Newegg and ogling the other stuff I could buy and tweak and have fun with. So almost there. Nice of them to verify it. Okay, here's where the fun begins. Let's push play. Oh, look at that. Wait a minute. Did they improve the Steam installer too? Because that didn't used to appear. You get a broken icon. This could be amazing. So we're going to push play. And nothing happens. All right, well, that's what we expected. Then again, it's a virtual machine. We'll give it a second here. Try pushing play again. Nothing. Okay. So that's one of the flaws we expected. This is an improvement, though. It actually gave us an icon on the desktop instead of one of those like empty shortcuts with no icon. So as you can see, pushing play from within Steam does nothing. I'm going to assume that double-clicking this will also likely do nothing, and that is the case. So again, at this point, everyone would be like, what? How? What? So the giveaway of what's going wrong here is if we actually go into the C drive and program files x86 and Steam. Now, again, because it's Steam, it's not going to be under Standing Stone Games. It's going to be under Steam and Steam Apps, Common, The Lord of the Rings Online. So here we are. Here's the things you would think it's going to try to install to fix some of this. But anyways, we're going to find the LotRO client. And we're going to double click that. And it's saying DX9. I wonder if the launcher is going to give us, there we go. That's our problem. Well, they're both problems, and we're going to have to solve them both. But the LotRO launcher, saying that if you go Google this file name, it starts talking about Visual C++ redistributables and stuff. So it's the same old problems. None of this is new. We need to go and get the redistributables. So I did a little experimenting with the standalone installer. It still installs the 2005 and 2010 2005, 2010 Visual C++ redistributables. And they are still needed. If you remove them, LotRO reinstalls them. And if you launch the launcher, then remove them, and then try to launch the client, if you don't have the 2010 ones, it doesn't work. So, and then we also need the newer ones. So off we go. So in Google, we're typing Visual C++ redistributable. That is going to take us to the Microsoft latest supported Visual C++ redistributables. We are going to scroll down. Excuse me, got a cough. Okay, while we're here, let's just do it as we see them scroll by here. So here's the bundle of the most recent ones that are still supported. So let's grab the x86 and the x64. You do not want the ARM64s, and you do not want the i64s. Those will come up later. But for now, let's just grab that, and that's going to download, and grab that, and that's going to download. Now, we're going to make this easy on ourselves. We're going to go to the downloads folder. Pardon the Steam setup. We'll delete that. And they're all going to be named VC redistributable. And only if you hover over them by looking at the file description can you see what it actually is. So just to organize ourselves a little bit here, we're going to say 2015 and such. Just to separate these out. All right. And since we know we're also going to get the 2005 and 2010 ones, let's pre-plan here. All right. So if we go back to that website, moving this aside, go back to that website. These are these, and yet if we scroll down, note that the older ones are down here, which is nice of them to still provide. So we got 2010, 2008, 2005. We need 2005 and 2010. Notice it says no longer supported. So if there are security vulnerabilities in this, it's not being updated. I'm in no place to make any demands of anyone, but I mean, it'd be great if SSG could update the client to use the modern Visual C++ runtimes and not be dependent on older stuff like this. But I'm in no place to say that that would be difficult, easy, or somewhere in between. And so it'd just be nice. It may not be doable. So here we go. We're going to download the 2005. And as you can see here, it's taking us to English. I didn't mention before, always just be careful what you're clicking on, where you're going. Make sure you're actually at Microsoft.com when you're getting these things. So download English. And we're going to check the x86, but not the IA64. Remember I mentioned that a second ago. We want the x86 and the x64, but not this middle one. We're going to say next. And I'm going to allow that. And here they come. I mean, obviously you can just open the My Computer icon, or the File Explorer it's called, and go to Downloads. Find them there. So those two, click on one, hold down Control, click on the other, then just pick one and drag, and they both come to 2005. And as we let go, that moves them in there. All right, now I'm teaching Windows File Manager conventions. So we'll back up again, back to that first page, and we're going to find the 2010, which is right there. Also no longer supported. Oh no, these are direct links. That's interesting. So we'll just click that and click that. This Chrome on this virtual machine is usually, it prompts me where do you want to save it, but it hasn't been doing that. So as you can see, we have yet again more of those files. I'm just going to click on this little go to folder, show in folder. We're back. These were the 2010. Little Windows trick. If you right click and drag, when you let go, it's going to ask you what you want to do with them. Copy here, move here, or create shortcut. And we want to move. So there we go. We got our 2005, our 2010, and our 2015 and such. So let's also go ahead, go back to Google and type in DirectX June 2010 redist. That's the last full batch of DirectX extensions back when they were done this way. And the nice one about this is that it's a dumb installer, not a smart installer. It just installs them. Doesn't check what's there. It doesn't ask you. It just does it. But the complicating factor is you do need to tell it where to extract to and then go in and actually run it. So we're actually going to do that first. Let's do the DirectX installer first, since it's on it's top of mind right now. So oh, it just hasn't refreshed, has it? I was waiting for this to change, but I just needed to click there and then hit F5 to refresh the screen, and it's done. Sorry about that. Let's see. I spaced out there. So let's double click this, and as I mentioned, it's going to say, oh, where do you want to put it? Come in. Yes. And it's saying, where do you want to put it? This is something I've done since back in the day, is just create a folder called inst for install at the root of my C drive and hit OK. It says it does not exist. Do you want to create it? I'll say yes. And it's never hard to find that. You just go to this PC, C. Excuse me, got a cough again. Yikes. Okay, so, and then there it is, inst. Lots of stuff in here. We scroll down until we see DX setup. Double click. Say yes. Say I accept. Say next. Say next again. And it's going to put these things where they need to be. In the thread on this, in the forums, I actually went into a little detail about which files are actually necessary, but this puts them all there, and you don't need to worry about it. And this is the way to do it. More and more, we're seeing people who try to go and download DX web setup, and that seems to have some logic in it that checks what's there and won't reinstall on top of itself, and that's you can't do any harm running this. It is meant to be installed, even though DirectX 12 or 13 or whatever version they're up to now on Windows 11 is pre-installed. These are just extensions, and they're DLLs that go in the Windows syswow 64 folder, and they do no harm there, but games that need them can find them there. So anyways, we're done with that. Now we're going to go back to downloads, and we're going to just work our way up from 2005. And let's do the x86 first. Say yes. And that was fast. We'll do this one next, the x64 one. x86 is another way of saying the 32-bit version of the operating system, rather than the x64, which is the 64-bit version. The x86 is like a 286, 386, 486, 586 processor, which were 32-bit processors. So if you're wondering why that doesn't say x32, that's why. It's the processor name architecture there, whereas this x64 means actually 64-bit. Did it finish? If I just stopped rambling and kept track of what we're doing, right? I mean, we can close that browser and stuff. So yeah, let's close everything. It did run. So let's go ahead. We'll confirm later. 2010. So now we're in the 2010 folder. We're going to do x86 first. And this one has more to say. Do not send me information, but I have read and accepted those terms, you betcha. Alright, now the x64. And I have read, but do not check the second one or say install. And finish. So back to downloads, and now into 2015 and such. And this will be interesting. I don't think I've installed this one. So let's see what it's like. I think it's cool that it's a batch now. I mean, that's really the way they should always be doing it, right? Alright, that was x86. Here we go with x64. Alright. And LotRO should run now. I want to make sure the old launcher isn't still there or anything. It isn't. So let's double click. Boom! Would you like to install high resolution data? Yes. I'm told that actually doesn't matter. Whether you say yes or no, it uses the same textures, but don't quote me on that. So then here we go. We're going in, and now the patcher is running. And you should be set and good to go. And hopefully you don't have any other issues where, like, people I think are running into issues because they bring over in their documents folder there's the Lord of the Rings Online, and a user preferences is already there. Should be largely empty right now, yes. Um, and then they bring those over from older computers or different computers, and it's specifying video adapters that aren't there, or who knows what. But the next step, if you have trouble, is to delete that user preferences file, and then it will regenerate it with all defaults. See if it works then. If it doesn't work then you can go into options and under repair, select the video adapter. Now, obviously, here this is a virtual machine, so I only have strange. It doesn't list one you'd recognize, like an NVIDIA or a AMD or Intel. But might need to choose that there. I've never needed to do that, even on systems with 2 video adapters. There's also some other places to do that. I might do a separate video on this. But you can actually, let's see, while we wait for the filtering here. Graphics, settings, yeah. So we said, just pointed at the screen like you can see me there. Graphics settings. You saw that I typed in, find a setting. You can do this too. Just say graphics. Well, we're already in there, so it's not going to work. Oh, actually it did. So here we are, graphics settings. Check this out. You can actually, that's interesting. LotRO client is not there after the SSG installer, as far as I recall, and I just tried it. But anyways, now you can choose this and choose options and say here which one you want to which graphics adapter this should always use. I've never had to do this. I let Windows aside, high performance. There's a lot of people with problems where it seems like maybe choosing the adapter might fix it, but I think also just deleting their user preferences file might also do the trick. Just put it back to automatic. So anyways, this is patching along here. But as you can see, we've overcome that just silent crash to desktop that stymies so many Steam users. And everything should just work normally now. But I guess I'll let this stream play itself out and maybe keep it on the channel for a while until I can come up with an edited one. And I might just delete that one with a terrible sound. It is truly terrible. Somebody in the comments made me feel real bad. So I just want to get rid of it. I'm delicate that way. Okay. This is going to take a while. Wonder if it's actually downloading anything right now. Yeah. I'm wondering if it's actually working off of local cache, because that is a minuscule amount of network activity for what it's doing right here. And yet the disk is going nuts. And that's an SSD. Oh, you know what? I should not be telling that that's an SSD. No, wait, no. They are on SSDs. I'm trying to remember what I have on my Proxmox server for all these virtual machines. And yeah, that is running off an SSD. But yeah, I think that 33 gigabytes that it's downloading has like the raw patch files there, and then the client or the launcher for the patcher and launcher is dipping into that right now, because that's not enough downloading to account for all the processing. It says downloading, but I think it thinks it's downloading, but it's really just getting it from that 32 gigabytes we downloaded from Steam already, which is good. That's efficient. So I always feel like if I had my druthers, if I were running the world, I would just always be making a new installer every 3 months and just keeping it modern and keeping it. But I mean, we think like that as end users, and then we don't think about the the testing that'll do and the possible bugs that'll introduce, or the, and you're like, I mean, I don't think it's any secret. I'm a systems administrator, have been for 30 years now, and the things that we fail to see coming, and especially the layperson will fail to see coming, and you just think, of course we could patch this and restart it in the middle of the day. It can't possibly hurt anything, and yet it does. And only after it has do you think, of course that happened. It all makes sense now. But there was no breadcrumbs leading backwards. There's only the breadcrumbs leading forwards to where you're like, oh, of course. So I just have very little to say right now. I'm, like I said, low energy, so I'm just gonna silently wait this out now and see what happens. I mean, there's nothing left to do. We installed the Visual C++ runtimes 2005, 2010. Oh, there is something left to do. Um, this is pretty critical. You want to go to Settings. You want to go to Windows Update. And you want to go to Advanced Options. And receive updates for other Microsoft products. Yes, please. And now we check for updates. And it should see updates for the 2005, 2010. It might not though, because we might have downloaded the latest, and it's the SSG installer that works. That actually has a slightly older version. But I don't know. Hey, we might be done. Yeah, we're done. I'm gonna close it though. I think that's just best practice to close it, open it again after the latest patch, because sometimes things trickle in. Like with the SSG official installer, the non-Steam one, it actually doesn't do the DirectX updates that fix everything until like your second. It'll give you the login prompt, and then you close it and reopen it, and all of a sudden it'll say, "Oh, update for Windows Secure." No, that's not it. And then it'll say, I lost my train of thought. Oh, then it'll say installing DirectX 9, and you're like, oh, okay, there they go. So that's it's they have actually fixed the installer. I guess what I'm trying to say is when you first run the installer and then it launches the game, it's the game's patcher, and the patcher runs through its first big download and install. If you go and you look, all the latest Visual C++ ones, like the latter batch, is not yet installed, and I don't think all the DirectX ones you need are installed. And then you run the patcher one more time, even though it asks you to log in. You close it and reopen it, and it actually shows, it actually goes and says installing DirectX 9. And then if you go and you look under Add Remove Programs, that's what I still call it. What I mean by that is under Settings, and then Apps, and then Installed Apps. Then you go and you look here, and only then do you start to see like the 2015 versions and stuff showing up. But you can see here, we've got the 2005, the 2005, the 2010, the 2010, again x86 and x64. The 2015 to 2022, they're all here. I don't think the DirectX has any uninstaller. No. So, so we are good to go. Let's go ahead and double click this. And let's mute. All right. I'm a Lantraval guy. Read this in its entirety. And this. And only then do you agree. Oh, sorry. I took a swig of coffee there again. There we go. We detect DX11. That's always a good sign. We'll say yes. Performance will be terrible here. This is a virtual machine. It's software emulating 3D hardware acceleration. Now, depending on whether you're windowed or full screen. Whoops. Wonder what you guys see there. Interesting. All right. Oh, because it went to full screen. Okay. So I'm going to hit escape here. And you're seeing that in a little corner with black around it. I'm seeing it as just a smaller window now. So as you can see, performance is terrible, but we are in the game. So everything appears to be working. Everyone should be happy. So that's about it. I'm going to go ahead and quit here. We'll be presented with the firewall thingy. Not sure, you know, it's always strange to me that the Windows firewall works in that any unsolicited traffic from outside is blocked, but anything that you initiate from inside, from on your computer, is automatically allowed. So why this is always necessary? I guess the thing is, it's not necessary. But I just allow access because you've got a router anyways, so it shouldn't matter. Anyways, in other words, your router acts as a hardware firewall, and your software firewall running on Windows is just a second layer of defense, which is good to have. But I am on a tangent. I think we're done, and I always just have trouble saying goodbye. But as you saw, it worked. We just needed the Visual C++ runtimes, 2005, 2010, and then the bundle of all the supported ones, and the DirectX runtimes, and it works. And I will leave this up here until I get a more concise version made. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy Middle-earth when you can.